Hi, this is NUSensei, and taking a break from my archery videos, I'm going to cover this game. This is probably Archery by Southeast Games. This has a bit of history to it. Months ago, when I was looking at archery videos, there were dozens and dozens of videos about probably archery, and this was like the next thing. It was like the Q-Op, the next surgeon simulator. So it was originally developed for the 7-day FPS challenge, and that was when they had 7 days to make a game, and they had this simple target range, and it was a pretty cool idea, just having to control arms and wrist and trying to shoot a bow, which is pretty cool. Then they made the demo version and they put it on Steam for Greenlight, and I supported the game through 7-day FPS and the Steam Greenlight. I pushed it through. And now they've got the full version, which is currently on Steam for about $9 on special, and it'll probably be the full. I think the full price is $11 or $12. I like the game, but I find it a bit hard to recommend to people to buy. And I'll describe the game as like this: it's not a bad game. It's a fun game, but it lacks depth. It's a very shallow game. And I'll explain why a bit later. But as you can see, we have a series of mini games. So I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mini games, plus a few multiplayer games like Zombie Soccer. Don't let this fool you. Like there seems to be a lot of mini games, but these games are very quick. I remember watching a video where someone said you could beat all the games in less than an hour. I think that's quite generous. You can beat all these in about 20 minutes. So considering you're paying like $12 for 20 minutes of art in this game, it's I don't think it's quite the value for money. So like I said, I like the game, but tough to recommend. So without further ado, let's actually see what the game's about. Okay, so here we have the target practice range, which was the original game mode in the 7-day FPS version, and it's of course back in this version. As you can see roughly on the screen, what you've got here is you've got your arms, your disembodied arms. You control the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder separately, and of course you control your left and right arm separately as well. So those are separate things. And what you have to do is basically maneuver your arms in a position where you can use your bow. The majority of the challenge of this game is getting it right. If you can do that, the game is actually very easy. I know for new players this is going to be mad, and I see a lot of people who play this game on YouTube, like Let's Players, or people who try this game for the first time. They're pretty bad at this game because they don't understand the idea of alignment and how to get the arrow on the knock. But once you figure out how to do it, it's just not that hard. Most of your time will be spent figuring it out. As a veteran of the game, I kind of already know how it works, and plus I'm an archer, which doesn't really matter, but the fact is you still get, it's not hard really. Like I like the gimmick. This is the core feature of the game, is this, and it's great. This game, for the mechanics, is good. It's original, it's creative, it's kind of frustrating, but in a good way. Just like Q-Op was, or Surgery Simulator was. But to call this the next Surgery Simulator is a bit of a tall order. I'm saying this because the game doesn't have that much of a game really. It's this one mechanic. It's like a tech demo. Someone said in Steam forums. It's like a tech demo. You just have this core mechanic, which is quite a good mechanic, and there's nothing quite like it. But the game itself is lacking a lot of features. You don't have a lot of the. There's no real high scores. There's no scores really. You have this like hit thing where you say which ring you hit, but you don't really have anything resembling a scoreboard, which is a shame because this is a game where you would want to keep score. And unfortunately, there's nothing. Like, I know people will say, "Oh, you can always set your own records and have some intrinsic motivation," but if you're paying for a game, I'd really expect the game to give you the reward, like give you the scoreboard. Like there's no way for me to track how many points I've gotten, and really all the levels end after I hit all the targets. There's no real separation between getting a high score or hitting targets. And then for the people starting out, hitting targets will be the challenge. But once you've acquired the skill to consistently hit targets easily, like I just did there, there's no incentive, there's no real drive to come back and play again. It's just the same thing. Unfortunately, that's the tone of the game. I mean, it's a fun game. I've said this before. It's quite challenging. There are a small variety of challenges, but by and large, there's not much replay value. And I'll say this multiple times. The key weakness of this game is that there's very little depth. There's no like second mission or second level. Like you play the minigame once, you finish it, and that's it. There's nothing to come back to. Some of the games are very short. I mean, you can get these done in a few minutes. I mean, look, the next minigame I'm gonna play the William Tell one, the don't miss one. You aim at the apple on top of the apple and you shoot it, and you win. Like, watch. I'm gonna do it right now. And that's it. That's the minigame. There's no second challenge. There's no multiple. This is what I think. It's such an easy thing to make into the game. Like here you have the Berserker minigame, and this is what we're talking about. You have multiple rounds. The rounds are incredibly short. I mean, like they have 1 or 2 guys each, and they've got you know, it goes from guys running at you with swords, and then shields, and then multiple guys with shields. But after 4 rounds, it stops. I mean, this isn't an incredibly hard amount of work. I mean, you can still make multiple waves. Like, why not have 10 waves? I mean, why have this one guy charging you wave, and then just make... I don't understand why you can't just make 5 extra levels. Just the same concept, which is more guys, make it faster. This is why I guess some people have the impression that this is a tech demo, because you have an incomplete game. Well, the game is complete. You have one of everything, but that doesn't make it a complete game. The satisfaction of going through a challenge is what will bring gamers to this game. If the game has replay value, so you can play multiple missions and multiple levels, then this game will sell, because the core mechanic is good. And this is an example of how the mechanic is well played. Most of the minigames, the game mechanic of the bow and arrow and the clumsy arms is not very well done. But this is where it's good. We had the I don't know, the Berserker was not well done. The William Tell one's not very good. The target practice is target practice. But here we have this used to be called the Horde Mode in the previous demo, but it was replaced by a warband, and Horde was moved over to multiplayer, which we'll talk about later. But in this case, you know, it's a charging army of apple men against your barrel army, and you have to aim your bow and get volleys. You don't aim everything; you just aim your bow, and the rest of the AI will automatically aim towards your point. And it's pretty fun. I mean, this is good. I mean, you can massacre apple men. If you hate fruit, then just kill them. This is wonderful. This is fun. But unfortunately, it's just one level. I don't understand why you can't have level 2, double the apple men. I mean, look how easy it was. It didn't even come close to me. I haven't played the game that long, but it's not that hard. Let me check this out. I mean, you have to shoot the noose, and this is a hard one. I hate this level because that's it. Shoot the noose, and that's it. Mission over. There's no replay value, and this is the 0G one. And I just want to point out that one of my criticisms is that it feels like this game actually has fewer features than the green light demo. I remember the green light demo. It had the 0G mission. It had the low gravity moon level, which was different, but it was quite fun. I mean, it was still target practice. I'm glad they removed extra target practice, but why not keep it and have it as a level? Like, why not have like the moon level and then the space level and then something else? Like, I don't understand why. Like this is really a tech demo. It's just the same target practice with no gravity, so you can shoot forever, which is nice. But why not have this as a level of a game instead of having a mini game by itself? There's no fun factor in this. And in fact, this is an easy mode. You just point and shoot at a target. So And that's my criticism. They had they had the zero G, the moon level, and they had the Rambo mission where you played that scene from First Blood. And that was pretty fun, and they removed it. I guess they got reasons, like tech reasons, I guess, but that was pretty fun. This minigame is my favorite. It's a new one. It's Exterminator. And this thing is just hilarious. And look at it. you've got this like flying egg going around, and you have to shoot the egg. But above all, you have to you get this money. Like that's just score on top. You get paid based on how long you take and how much collateral damage to happen. So if you just hit a pan or pot, or the flying egg hits something like that, or flips a table, then you lose money. And this is fun. This is what the game is. Like, this is when you transform your core mechanic and you turn the game to this great shooting gallery fun. This is what you need more of. You have an objective. You shoot 10 eggs. You have a time limit. You have a score kind of counter. This is a fun game. Like the idea of shooting a flying egg, it's excellent. It's ecstatic and all these egg puns, but it really challenged you to like know how to operate the bow and know how to point and aim it and time it. And once you get it down, it feels really satisfying to just shoot eggs non-stop. This is what the game should be. Not just this, I should say, more than this. But the game really needed more mini games which are more creative, that transform the game beyond just a bow and arrow simulator. Like, this is fun. Look at that. I have to track the well, that flipped the table. By the way, there is an achievement where you flip a table. That's quite literally. But yeah, like, and unfortunately, there's only one level in this mini game, and I want it more. I want to have like there are 2 eggs flying around instead of 1. You know, that's the sort of thing I want to see. I can't imagine it can be that hard to code an extra. It can't be that hard to code an extra level. Like, look how fun it is. It's silly, but it's very skillful, and that's what I think this game is. It's a game of skill, but the game doesn't push you to test your skill. Unfortunately, most of the game, I don't know, like it seems the single player experience is very short-lived, and it's probably half an hour at most. Now there is multiplayer, but unfortunately at the point of this game, when it's released, it's been like 5 days, no one plays the game. I can't find any online servers or any online matches, and it seems the heart of the game in terms of replay is in its multiplayer. I mean, you have the co-op Horde Mode, which I'll show you later. I'll play single player for that, but I can't find a game for that. There's Deathmatch, which was really fun in the 7 FPS version. It wasn't in the Greenlight demo, but it was in the 7 FPS. It's one-on-one, and it was just fun. This time it's Team Deathmatch, so there are multiple players, but no one plays the game. And I can't tell you how good multiplayer is because no one plays it. I can't find a game. And this is a big surprise to me. I'm not sure if it's a good thing. This is Zombie Soccer, and this is not a separate game. I want to clarify that. This is part of the game. The idea is it's a multiplayer game, and I can't find a multiplayer match, so I'm just playing by myself, which is kind of sad. The idea is you play a soccer match in first-person view, and you arm a cricket bat, and there are zombies, and that's the game. I don't understand it. I have 2 complaints. Firstly, the game itself, like Zombie Soccer itself, the idea is pretty fun. I've heard it's a pretty fun game to play with people. Even it looks crap. I'll say that outright. It looks horrible. And the physics are terrible. The zombies look bad. You get a gun, but the ammo drops are rare and random, and the gun doesn't do anything really compared to a bat. The physics are just really clunky, and it's just really hard to play. This is not FIFA, guys, really. But it just looks bad. It's just the model's terrible. The animations are lacking. It's kind of in line with what probably Archery is about, but for a game like this, I expect a bit more than just really quickly done animations. And another thing is that there's no indication that you've been hit. So if you run past a zombie, you do have a health bar on the bottom left, but if you get hit by a zombie, there's no way of knowing you've been hit until you die, because there's no like red screen, there's no shake effect. You just lose health and you die. The second complaint is, why is this in the game? I mean, it's a fun idea, but it really feels like a side project that was tacked onto probably Archery to add more content. Because I can't. This is nothing to do with Archery. You've made a rather not an excellent archery simulator. You've made a pretty nice and fun archery simulator, but why is this in the game? I don't understand zombie soccer and probably archery. There's no bows here. There's nothing here that has to do with the game. So I don't mind bonus features, but it seems this is actually quite an important part of the game, and I don't understand why they put it in. So that's my complaint. It's soccer. It's very clumsy soccer. There's no footwork. It's hard to control the ball. And I imagine with people it's fun, but no one plays the game. Now this is just a week after release, so I can't really judge multiplayer alone. So this is a disappointment. And I think that represents my feeling about the game in general. It's a bit disappointing. It's the card is the mechanics are good. I like the bow and arrow play. It's just the game itself that it's missing a lot of good features which make it worth playing again. Once you play it once, it's just not worth playing again. I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to show you a Horde Mode, which is multiplayer only. So here we go. This is Horde Mode. This is designed to play with multiplayer. You have, I can't remember how many players you can have, but you play co-op. And it's, originally I thought this was similar to Warband, but it's not. You shoot, they have like a wave of enemies, like Applemen, flying eggs, and later some bosses, like walking pumpkins. It's creative, I like the idea, but it's, the execution is bad, because it's too slow. Like, look at this, like, I didn't pick an awkward silence. This is the beginning of Horde Mode, and the enemies start so far away, it takes like 3 minutes for them to come into a reasonable shooting range, and it's boring. This takes way too long. This is the first wave, and you imagine in a wave-based survival mode, the first wave is usually the fastest wave. And I guess it is, but it just takes too long. I mean, I can shoot 3 guys in, 10 seconds. I don't need 5 minutes to shoot all these guys, but you can't. There's nothing to do about it because it's so far away you can't see them. They don't hit them. I mean, if you're squinting your eyes look at the screen right now, that's exactly what I'm doing. I just can't see the guys. I mean, I can just go out, go to the toilet, make a coffee, come back, and then I can shoot, and I'll still be fine. I might be exaggerating, but the idea is there. This is unnecessarily long, and I might trim it a bit later to show you more of the later stages. But I just want to show how boring this is. This is the part of the game what we call boring. It's because there's so much wait time. You're in the game, you're shooting enemies, but you can't hit them until they come closer. That's the problem. So I guess I'll wrap it up just while you're watching the last of the footage. The pros of this game is creative control scheme, some nice humor, and it's generally like the mechanics are polished. They work fine. It's not glitchy. It works as intended, and it's a very simple gameplay mechanic, just as you would see in QWOP, just as you would see in Insurgent Simulator. Very simple mechanics, just controlling your some body parts to achieve this goal, which is to shoot an arrow. The down points of the game is it's too shallow. The mini games take a few minutes to finish, so you can play through the entirety of this game in less than half an hour. And considering you're paying $12 for a half an hour of experience, as a gameplay experience, it's not worth it. I find it hard to justify paying $12 for just 20 minutes of fun. The harder thing is the demo. It contains the same thing, except I guess less features. I don't know the recent demos, like the Greenlight demo had the same number of features, if not more, and it was free. Even the original 7-day FPS was probably more functional because you had that multiplayer. You had a simple target practice. This has extra modes, but the modes are so short that you won't get much out of this. I bought this like last night, and I can't bring myself to play this game. I like occasionally coming up and shooting, but I really want the game to do it for me. I want the game to give me a challenge. I don't want to set myself a challenge because I'm paying for this game. Why does the game do it for me? So would it be much to ask to have an extra level? Say, you know, have more waves in Horde Mode, you know, like have a 10 level survival warband mode, where every warband comes with, you know, shields or flying eggs. Like, why not combine Horde Mode with warband? You have all these different enemies, why not put them together in warband in single player? We had the volley fire. That was the fun mechanic, but you only use it once against a mass army, and when you beat that, there's just nothing to bring you back. You have the Berserker. There's 4 quick levels and over in 2 minutes flat. I mean, why not have more levels? You have you have different target practice ranges, but all you do is hit the target. Why not have why not have like an Olympic style shooting range where you score points based on where you hit? That would be a challenge. It's not a unique or innovative you know, gaming mode, but practically every archery game has the normal target style archery. Now put yourself at, you know, 50 meters or 70 meters. Like, have multiple distances, 50, 30, 50, 70 meters. Have the Olympic style target. Have those, you know, 10-point bullseyes and hitboxes, and try to see if you can actually hit a score. I would actually play this game if this was like a target archery simulator. I like the disembodied apples and fish and all that, and flying eggs. But even if you take the core mechanic and you put it to something simple like target practice, literally target practice, this would have high replay value because you're trying to beat high scores. The game's scoring you, you've got personal base, you get achievements based on scores. That's what this game should be doing. Not having this one-off gimmicky, like one minute levels. It should be levels which have multiple replay value, like multiple missions, multiple objectives, or something which you can score and keep track of. That's what this game needs. You have the egg level, which is my favorite in the game, but it's still only one level. Why not have a level with multiple eggs in different environments? The game is a very small, cheap game, but I'm sure they can make something that can work. And this is the last thing I'll show you. This is this is the halfway boss of the Horde Mode, and it took me this long to get. It's taken like 5 minutes to get here. It's just too long, and it's a walking pumpkin. Again, it's creative. You have to shoot the pumpkin to knock the outer flesh away, so you can shoot the inner flesh and destroy the pumpkin. It just takes too long. Look how far away it is. It's just stalking. I mean, you have to kill eggs and apple men, but it just takes way too long. I'm falling asleep trying to commentate on this, and I don't want to bash this game. I mean, I support this game. It's not a bad game. I'll say that again. It's not a bad game. The mechanics are good, but it's just not worth the money, in my opinion, in its current state, because it's a short thrill. Like, it's so short, and because the multiplayer doesn't seem to be functioning, either because there's a glitch in the code or simply no one plays it a week after release. There's just nothing to come back to. There are plenty of games which can bring you back and give you more challenges. And Surgeon Simulator is an example, because Surgeon Simulator, like one moment you're doing brain surgery with a hammer, next moment you're in the back of an ambulance doing the same thing, and that makes it fun. This game, not quite. So unfortunately, would I say this is worth a shot? I'd say no. Hopefully there are some changes coming up, so it will make it more interesting, but in its current state, I find it's hard to recommend. This is NUSensei, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.